it's generally quite inspiring to see how many bright minds of the industry we have here gathered, ready to kind of really dive into some important topics and ask some questions, one of which is the one we're going to try to answer now, one that's been bugging a lot of people for a long time, and that is, should we prioritize quality or quantity when developing creative assets? And to help me, I have two industry veterans that have very different perspectives, both fired up and ready for a proper debate. So, Volha, I'll let you introduce yourself first.
Hello, everyone. My name is Volha Charnova, and I'm Senior Product Marketing Manager in Tactile Games. I'm overseeing creative strategy and production for Lily's Garden and Szymanski Match Games.
Yeah, and on my side, I'm Kenjy. It's been 8 years I'm working at Voodoo. I'm a creative leader there. I was a former senior UA, and my role is consisting helping those games to be scaled.
Okay, so before we dive into the real heavy stuff of this therapy session, I'm going to start with some quick fire questions. I'll start with you, Kenjy. So just give me a one-word answer. Meta or TikTok?
TikTok.
IPM or CTR?
IPM.
Match 3 or 4X?
Tough one. 4X.
Okay. Book or podcast?
Book.
Favorite emoji?
Joker. Both.
Okay. Volha. UGC or gameplay?
Gameplay.
Copying competitors or fresh ideas?
Both.
Here goes the rules. Puzzle game or strategy?
Puzzle.
Sweet or salty popcorn?
Salty.
One superpower you'd pick.
What's
Superpower.
superpower? Never die.
Wow. Okay. Watch out, Kenjy. Okay, so before we get in, I would like to do a quick opening poll here, and we're going to do this old school show of hands. So first, I'd like those to show their hands if they would prioritize, if they had to choose between quality or quantity, who would choose quality first? Okay, I think maybe 40%. Would you say 40? Okay, and let's move on to what did I just do? Quantity? Did I just do quality?
It was quality.
Sorry, quantity now. Okay, show hands. Oh, a bit late. Oh, okay.
I'm in trouble.
Volha, you have a head start. Okay, so now what I'm going to do... Oh, sorry. Now what I'm going to do is ask you both to do your opening position in under 30 seconds. But to help me with this, I'm going to invite someone else up onto the stage. Alan, please. Thank you. Some of you know I live in Spain, so I've brought with me my pollo loco. And when you hear the end of the 30 seconds, you'll know your time is up. Yes, it's a dog toy. It's the best I could do. Don't judge me. Okay, who wants to go first?
I can.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Go.
So for my team, quality is a non-negotiable part of creative production because we believe that the ads should depict the quality of the game, and it is especially important for our narrative-driven stories, narrative-driven games, where hook and emotional-packed story is the best that works. And also, that's the only way I can know that this concept is working or not.
Oh, just in the 30 seconds. Very good. Okay, Kenjy, over to you.
Yeah, on my side, I will be in favor of quantity because if you think about it, the more you train yourself on something, the better that you will be. And I think it's the measure way to make sure that you will learn by losers and to improve your creative journey. So the more volume you will do, the more confidence level that you will raise, and the better your campaign will be. So for this reason, I will tend to say that volume is king.
That was a bit boring. You both practiced that, didn't you? I was expecting it to cut into you. Okay, let's dive into the deeper stuff then. So, I want to talk first about data, performance data. So, I'll start with you, Kenjy. How do your UA goals and the game stage affect your balance between quality and quantity of creatives?
I will say that, like I was mentioning, you need to have a quick resonance everything is about, especially when you're launching a game, getting the learning fast. And to do this, you will need to double down on the volume to make sure that you're not ruining any potential big free that will help you to scale your game. And for this reason, I think to tailor basically your production around the volume, especially for this type of game, and even when the game is like on the live side, maybe your mix could change a little bit, but at the end of the day, the volume will be still your best sidekick to make sure that you're, again, moving away all the bad hypotheses and make sure that you can move forward in the learning journey.
Great. And Volha, when scaling, what have you seen in the data suggest that relying on a few strong performance is better than testing many variations?
Yeah, I would say that common sense tells us that the more ads you have, the more you test, the more hero creatives you will have. But what we saw in our case was unfortunately not that. So sometimes we did this kind of pushes of more ads production by using agencies, using third-party services, and then we still saw that the hero creators were those that we planned in our initial workflow.
Okay.
Yeah, I can maybe answer back. I will say everyone is talking about finding a hero creators, building around it. Sounds very great on paper, but I think the reality is quite different. To reach this hero creative, probably you have to train yourself into 49 other losers that will help you having this hero creative. So at the end of the day, even though you will love to build up on that one and say that you will have a lot of quality there, the ecosystem is making you explore, I will say, a lot to make sure that it will raise, again, your confidence to reach this. So maybe it's the endpoint to have this quality topic, but I think it will start with the volume-centric approach from my perspective.
And Kenjy, how do you ensure you collect so much reliable data when testing such a large volume of ads?
I think all you have to do is to draft some hypotheses first. Ask yourself before producing what would you love to achieve if you go in a specific direction. I think it will help you to make sure that you go there. And to make sure that you can have all the volume and still receive learning from it, I think everything is about having a pretty good testing protocol, making sure that you can isolate things at the very early stage that will give you, again, the confidence to go deeper into the creative production. So everything is about framing it properly and draft the right hypothesis, if I can summarize it.
Okay. And Volha, do you see better results kind of spreading across many channels or going deeper into just a few?
Yeah, I think that the reality of the market is that we are quite dependent on some big players, big networks, and it can be a curse and a blessing. So I try to find something positive everywhere. So that gives us an opportunity to really go deeper into this network to understand what works there, what combination of video and playable can be the best solution for us.
Okay. And you, Kenjy, do you agree with that, or?
I will say in a sense of, let's say, network breakdown, I agree that in general it's between 1 to 3 networks that is like driving the performance of your game. But at the same time, if you think about it, even within the network, you have so much differentiation. I don't know, if it's an SDK network, the source breakdown will make you do a lot of journey exploration, because it is like a SAN network, and I think will be about the right placement and everything. So when you think along the way, when you need to match the right playable, the right video, the right placement, whatever, and you mix it, you have so much variation to be done to make sure that you will have this famous hero creative that you kind of forcing yourself to make sure that you will be volume-centric again. So that's why I'm still encouraging to do this part of thing, to make sure that at the end of the day, we can have the best option per placement, per network.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to dive in a little bit now into the ideation process, because I can imagine differs quite a lot. Kenjy, let's start with you. What does that look like?
I will say ideation process is very short. Everything is more sprint-centric in terms of ideation. We are not relying that much on AI, for example, to do it. We are really trying to mix a macro, I will say, idea and try to find what are the best, let's say, optimization around it. So what will be the best hook that we can apply there, what can be the best CTAs and stuff. But we really try to make sure that every week we come with solid, rather proven, again, macro concept, or the one that we think can be a little bit more bold and risk taken as an approach.
You told me something in the lunch break that really was very curious. Do you mind sharing that with the team?
About which topic? Can you elaborate? Speaking so much, sorry about it. Yeah.
No, we were talking about you set it when you were setting trends in the market and what you used to do to.
Yeah, true. Something that is interesting is like when you're having, let's say, a little bit of power over the market, you can even do one creative and see if the rest of the industry will copy you. And it's quite interesting to see that at that time when we were on hyper casual, we were doing this quite a lot. We were trying some stuff that wasn't working, and we were trying to see if the industry was like replicating it, and we were seeing it was the case. So it was giving us confidence to say that volume can still be king, because we can maybe inseminate plenty of different concepts, and probably the one that will be winners will be reflected by the competition, basically. So it was quite interesting to do this type of inception and let the rest of the companies validate the hypothesis.
Thank you. Volha, how different or how much alike is the ideation process that you guys follow?
So for us, ideation process is like, it's not the process, but the main three sources of workflow for us is our own data. So the creative test that we are doing, the hero creative that we are having currently. Then the second part is, of course, market and what our competitors are doing, what marketing in general is up to. And the third part is always our game as the inspiration and our audience as an inspiration. So when we combine these, we usually have around 3 to 5 creative lines that we focus on for this month.
Mm-hmm. And how now with AI obviously being so much part of our industry, how is that enabling more variations? Does it make finding quality harder, or does it raise the creative bar even more?
Yeah, I think that for us, AI is still a source of quality, not quantity, because we're not using it to prepare some, I don't know, AI slop banners from scratch. We use it for enhancing something that we already have. So just to make some assets that can be incorporated into our video ads or our images. And it gives time for our creative team to think about usually like really important stuff like ideas, brainstorm. So it removes this busy work. So we have more time for quality thinking.
What does your team look like? The setup of the team. How many people do you have, and how much of that work is done internally versus externally?
So we have 3 people working on static graphic designers. Then we have 7 animators and motion designers that are working on the video assets.
Okay. And Kenjy, how's AI doing at Voodoo?
I will say it's a little bit different. We try to go fast. So the goal is to make sure that we have like 360 roles. So we have only 2 different roles at Voodoo. One that we name marketing artist is like combining motion designer with like everything related to banners and AS. So all the things that are like static, feasible by one person is led by them. And we have what we name marketing developers. It's more people that are able to, let's say, go into the project, the Unity project, modify it, and bring basically the brainstorming coming into life. So we have like 25 people in the creative team in-house, and we have a little bit of exploration related to external.
And how do you find that balance between investing in tools versus talent and craft to elevate quality?
I will say it's quite difficult to be fully transparent to make sure that your team is gaining adoption on new tools. So I think you should be very careful about it. That's why we try to encourage people to do it, but not force, let's say, in our protocol to use those tools. So we explain them what to do, but not again in a rigid way on this. And we are encouraging them to find tools that will make them explore something that we untouch, rather than something that they can use as boosting their daily operation. Doesn't mean that we are not believers that AI is not companion. It's more to say, if you're looking for something that is big, it's better to explore the AI that will make you reach this, rather than just maybe some comfort on your daily operations.
Mm-hmm. How do you set the bar of your kind of quality per game in the team, and how is that communicated? Well, I'll start with you, Volha.
Yeah, so I understand that quality bar can be subjective from time to time, but still we have kind of strict rules for what we can use in the ads, what we cannot use. Also, we foster this culture of feedback. So, for example, newcomers can always understand this quality bar from the more matured members of our team. And also the main reference for us when we're talking about quality, it's our game. So we don't want the ads look worse than our game. And of course, one more thing is attention to details, because sometimes the ad is beautiful, but then you see this ugly scented button and it changes the whole impression about it.
Is it the same with you, Kenjy?
I will say it's really the opposite. I think for Voodoo, we are more in how can I say this? We are more in a strategy to make sure that the P1 title will be covered by the volume. So basically, more people working on it to make sure that we can have also all the skills that we have will be beneficiating for this game. And maybe for P2, P3 games, let's say we tend to reduce, of course, the size of the team, and it means also the volume will be way less. But in terms of let's say creative journey itself, we try to come with the same framework, but it's more, let's say, the volume that will change compared to a P1 versus a P2.
When you're building a team for your kind of objectives and your focus, what is the prerequisite for building a good team for that? What are the main things that you are looking for in a team?
On my side, I will say making sure that we have all the skills prior to whatever we would love to do, to make sure that we are not missing something that will block the whole entire production journey as a discovery. Second thing I will say is motivate, basically having motivators for this team, because we have a lot of games along the year, and all the excitement that you can have, for example, in other company when you have a new game, I would say it tends to be a little bit more mitigated because we have a large portfolio. So try to come with like, what is the good thing that they will learn from this new game? What is the right approach that we should tackle that will make them level up is part of the equation.
And how much Voodoo, obviously it's different sized teams to use, how much of that production is done internally and how much do you externalize?
I will say almost 100% was internal for the Voodoo gaming portfolio. But we tend to, the more we're going to the hybrid, of course, we need to be very humble on the production. We need to try more stuff. So basically, we are more externalizing the production right now to have more learnings again and to make sure that we are not losing anything behind us.
And do you agree in terms of building a team, or is there slightly different considerations that you would have?
So in terms of building the team, I would say it will be the same thing that we focus on quality. So it should be not like more people doing more stuff, but rather very qualified people, maybe doing less, but of a higher quality. And I think that it's always easier to scale from quality team to quantity team. So onboarding some tools or onboarding some third-party services, but these quality and understanding the purpose that stays with the team, it's something that cannot be learned quickly.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to go to my last question, and that is, if you had 20% more budget, would you spend it on more creative output or higher quality ones?
It's a tough one, but definitely I will improve the quality. I think the reason is we have a big team, so we can handle the volume. Second, I think that the GenAI is already around there to give you variation facilities. So if I have extra money, I will bet on think big strategy. So of course, exploration will be there.
So not to sound too arrogant, but I think that our quality bar is already high. So that's why I would spend this additional money on some ideas that are in our backlog, because we always have this long backlog of ideas that's like, maybe we should do this, but always like priorities. You should choose what to do first. So I would spend it on some of the ideas that wait for that time.
Okay, thank you guys. So before I ask you all again to see if you've managed to convince, Kenji, you had some catching up to do. Let's see if you've done it. I'm going to now ask you both to make a kind of final statement or a thing. So I think I went first with you last time, no? So Kenji, if you'd like to go first.
Yeah, I will say, again, I'm reinforcing the fact that you need to double down on volume, because we're talking about performance marketing. It's about making sure that you have the right learnings and the right next move. And to do that, you need to have replicas to make sure that it's the right direction. And what my CEO was used to say to me is like, he was having a small story about you have two groups. One is like, the goal is to make the best pot ever. And the second group is about making the maximum pots they can. And they were like all selling the whole pots, on the market. And guess what? The one that was having the biggest money when they will be sold was the one coming from the speediness. So basically, you will always find someone that will look into this fast creative, but resonate in a super impressive and direct touch in terms of impact. So that's why doubling down on volume will probably also drive you amazing users.
Volha?
Yeah, so to wrap it up, I would say that we can agree that we should invest in people and ideas as the quality bar. We should not be scared to onboard some quantity tools, AI included, and anything else. But the main stuff, the main idea, both for quantity and quality approach, is to be purposeful, to understand why you're doing this, what emotional trigger should be tackled in this very creative. And if it makes it job, like, that's fine. Maybe it looks ugly, but if it makes it job, then it's fine. Then maybe I can test it as well.
Okay, so let's throw this back to the audience and see. So let's start with quality. Who's still on the side of quality after hearing all that? Oh, there's a little bit less.
Maybe I got some leads. Cool.
Okay, and now on to quantity. Okay, I think it's a pretty even.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you that, Kenji.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so I'm going to do a quick summary. If there's anything I missed, please jump in, or something I've got wrong. First off, what have we learned? So Kenji and Volha both agree that it's not as simple as quality versus quantity. The stage of the game, the goals, and the team behind it play a huge role. AI is more of a creative accelerator, but not a replacement. It speeds up the heavy lifting so the teams can focus on what really matters. They both made it clear that communication, feedback, and clarity about what looks good are around what good looks are non-negotiable. Where they differ, Kenji champions quantity, testing at speed, casting the net wide, and learning from both winners and losers, correct? Volha champions quality, setting a high bar, reflecting on the depth of the game, and trusting the pan pipeline, producing the strongest results. Kenji looks across formats and placements, while Volha goes deeper into the proven channels. So I guess at the end, the real takeaway is that quality and quantity are not enemies, they're actually partners, right? The trick is knowing when to lean on one and not the other, how to strike the right balance for your game, your team, and your stage of growth. So please give me a big round of applause for both Kenji and Volha.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Great talk, guys. All right, we have plenty of time. Thanks for getting through that quickly. We've got about 8 questions, so we're going to go through all of them. This one's for you, Kenji. Can you describe briefly your testing strategy for such amount of creatives?
I think it will depend again related to the network that you will have to develop. But I will say roughly making sure that you test them in a fair ecosystem. So draft something that can drive equal at serving hypothesis like that. You will be, far from constraint of analyzing the reach, the level of impression or whatever. Everything that will be key will be the engagement on the creatives. And when you have this, maybe a secondary step, which is like more trying to find the creative that will resonate with your main campaign. So this is roughly it.
Gotcha. And I think this one's also related to quantity. So the second question is, to maintain quality and consistency, do you keep the same motion and graphic designers on each game, or do they shuffle between them? What's your strategy there?
So we shuffle people around, and that's not only the like if we're talking about quality and quantity and time, maybe it will be wise to keep them on the same game because they know where the assets are, they know what this game looks like, and they know every detail about it. But that's something that we decided to do also for keeping the spirits of our creative team, because they like to work on something new, they like to work on fresh ideas, and they don't want to be stuck on one game and only one type of the ad. So that's why we rotate the shuffle, and it's like every graphic designer can work on any game that we have.
Cool. And do you agree that the moment you find your hero creative, that's the time to focus on quality rather than quantity?
I'm laughing because I will say yes, no. To be fair, I will say no first from my perspective, because if you think about it, you found your hero creative. Everything is already impressive. The weather is good, but it's maybe the right moment also to invest on what will prevent you to have a lot of app fatigue. So maintaining the level of volume and exploration there is even better compared to just rely on, I found it and I will just do the in-depth polishing. I think you need to do both, and people tend to forget about this.
I would agree on this with Kenjy. Yes, that's something that sometimes it's just luck that you found this hero creative, so you should never stop in finding new ones.
Cool. And oh, I missed a question there. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Some might say quality is subjective, but performance data is objective. Will you sacrifice quality if you see performance?
If I see it with my own eyes, maybe, but I never saw the ads that I personally consider to be ugly to win.
On my side, I will say hell yeah for sure. I will give you a funny one, but one day we were having an icon. It was probably the ugliest one we had, and I was keep on saying we won't scale this because I was thinking it was quality first, and then we gave a chance, and by far it was the best icon of the year. So I will tend to say if it's proven by the data, I won't fight against it.
And then a question I saw earlier for both of you that I thought was interesting. Does the strategy change depending on where a game is in the product life cycle? It's a new game, established, growing, etc. Kenjy, you can start maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I think when the game is a fresh title, you need to invest on, I think, a lot of exploration. So a lot of different concepts. And maybe when the game is established, you start to understand which one is resonating better on the game. So you can maybe start to forget a little bit more about the one that didn't work. So reduce basically your decision tree with conviction.
Yeah, so if we're talking about our case, we have these kind of type mature games that we have a lot of performance data about, so we kind of know what works for us. Then here, yes, the quality is prevalent. If we're talking about soft launches or concept tests, then here it's, yeah, I can agree that quantity matters because we should understand what creative line will work. That's why we should have like more things to test in order to understand where to go afterwards.
Yeah, and I'm also curious, how do you guys implement global trends? What's your strategy? And I'm curious how it differs between the two of you.
So global trends, I think that Sky was mentioning today that sometimes it's hard to apply a very short living trend because by the time it's up, it's already dead. And I feel that it's the same for us because it's not that easy to kill hero creative. So it takes time for first to produce these ads, then to make it scale. So that's why if I see that this trend is here with us for some months, then maybe I will jump on it. If it's something that will die in a week, then no, sorry.
And how do you think quality versus quantity is affected by the LTV of the players? And also, if you could pull the question back up, guys, went down. And also budget. So if there's budget constraints versus lots of budget, how does that affect the quality versus quantity conversation?
Definitely, of course, budget is impacting the volume that you can try, but that's why I think setting a framework that can still make you have a lot of volume, I don't know, going in another geo for testing, stuff like this, can still give you a good way. So from my perspective, everything is about, even though you don't have the budget, making sure that you set something that can still make you have a lot of volume to again raise your confidence level.
All right, I don't see any more questions, so we're going to move on. Thank you guys so much.